that Ignaz did exist. I mean, after all, as I just showed you, he has his own vanity. Well, one thing that he said for sure is that wherever Dick was, Ignaz was not far behind. And I'm going to give you 5 examples that prove my case. Years ago, there was a PTA meeting at a local school here that my wife attended. Dick and Helen came as parents. There's a sign-up sheet. Ignaz signed in too. Needless to say, Nancy was greatly embarrassed about this. At another time, there was a church meeting where a sign-up sheet was passed around the group. After the meeting was over, a church lady came up to Helen and said, there's a name here I just can't find on the church rolls. Do we have an Ignaz Kozlowski among our membership? Point 3. Helen, for many years, was an election judge in this region, and she was serving in that capacity at a municipal election in Gilbertsville. When, in her role as the election judge, she noticed there had been a write-in vote for one of the municipal candidates. Yes, Ignaz got 1 vote. And just let that sink in. Somewhere in the Montgomery County election records, a vote for Ignaz Kozlowski is recorded. Example 4. As many of you know, the Otts maintained a summer home in Stone Harbor. Parishioners who might be visiting Stone Harbor and who might want to call up Dick and disrupt his vacation were shocked to find they could not find a listing for Richard Ott in the Stone Harbor phone book. But if they looked closely, they would have seen that there was a listing for Ignaz Kozlowski at 269 90th Street, which just happened to be the Ott's summer home. Helen, who must have been tired of all this by now, had told the phone company that Ignaz was her father. Finally, example 5. This is my own encounter. 30-odd years ago, just before I met the Ott family, Nancy and I had not known each other for very long. But we were going to fly in for Christmas, and I thought before I fly in, I'm going to write some letters of introduction to Dick, Helen, to Brian, and to Linda, the better to ingratiate myself with my prospective in-laws. Well, I heard back from Brian. I heard back from Linda. But I didn't hear back from Dick and Helen. Instead, I got a letter from someone I'd never heard of before. The writer of this letter informed me that despite the unseemly, friendly nature of my letters, I would be received as their guest at Christmas time, provided that I could pass certain trials, which he outlined for me. I don't recall them all right now. But they included knowing the pet names of various ancestors. Magnus and Agnes. I've forgotten them all now. I had to eat a bowl of a kidney stew. And I had to laugh at one of Brian's jokes. Parenthetically, the author of this letter included, "Do not underestimate the difficulty of this test." I must have passed all these trials. Well, as you note, you're racing ahead of me. And you already know this letter was signed by Ignaz X. Kozlowski. Alas, Ignaz has not been heard from for several years. Some people think he has disappeared for good. but I respectfully disagree. I think Ignatz is about to make a comeback, because I believe that somewhere, like Ignatz is alive and well. Thank you.
I was asked by a member of the family to read some remembrances by Dick's brother Bob. Could not be with us today, but he's here in spirit and heart and wants to share a few of the many special times they had together growing up. Dick imparted to Bob a love of classical music, which he still enjoys today, and has season tickets to the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra every year. Dick had a very definite part in Bob attending Franklin and Marshall College, as Dick had preceded him there. Dick, although 9 years older than Bob, taught him how to build a hi-fi. I want to thank my colleague for explaining to me what a hi-fi is. I was about to say Wi-Fi, and I thought that created very interesting. On a lighter note, one day Dick took the family car and came back with 2 basset hounds, one male, Duke, which was Dick's, and Duchess was assigned to Bob. Where did he put them? I do not know. In the trunk? Upon arrival at the home, you can guess what everyone saw when the trunk was opened. While Dick and Bob hosed off the dogs, mother proceeded to clean the trunk out, not very happy to say the least. Another funny story was when Dick had heard that Bassett's had the best nose in dogdom. So he wanted to test it out. He put Duke on a leash and told Bob to wait exactly 10 minutes before he put Duchess on a leash and see where Duchess would lead him. And as soon as they left the house, Duchess put her nose to the ground and took off with Bob in tow and Dick nowhere in sight. 2 blocks away, Duchess found Dick and Duke, hence it was proven that Bassett's do have the best noses in dogdom. Though the differences in age, Dick mentored Bob in many ways. And last but not least, in June of 1994, Dick performed Bob's wedding ceremony to his wife, Connie, who celebrated 20 years of marriage this day. I was asked by the family to open up an invitation. If anyone here this morning would like to share a few words of remembrances, if you feel so moved, I invite you to come forward and stand behind the pulpit.
Trying to get through this. When I was growing up, my parents never really took me to church. My mom and I would get dressed, but we'd usually end up somewhere for breakfast. So when Jim and I were getting married, Pastor Rod said to me, "You have to join the church, you have to become a member, and I have to do classes with you." And I kind of rolled my eyes and I'm like, "What do I have to do this for? I don't plan to really go to church at all." But I'll do what Pastor Rod wants me to, and I'll attend his classes. Pastor Rod led me to the Lord 32 years ago. And just by asking questions of where my life is and how it will be with Jesus and without him. And he is a man I will never forget because of how my life is now. So he has been a great mentor. The knowledge that Brian said, he just showed me each one of us. So that is what he has done for my life that I will never be able to thank him enough.
Listen for the word of Jesus in the Gospel of John. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way? Jesus answered, I am the way, and the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. And from the second letter of Timothy, we read, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearing. This is the word of the Lord.